Hello everybody, welcome back to another tower tutorial. I haven't done one of these in a while because the last time I did it, the designs that I showed off in the video were like outdated after a few days or like a week because the tower was still in heavy development. But this time, now that the meta has stagnated a little bit, I've decided to make another in-depth tutorial on the new meta tower. This tower is called One Block Tower. It was also originally known as SJT, which stands for Simple Jump Tower, and One Block Tower has an acronym of OBT. So I'm going to start off with a brief explanation of the history of this tower. How did this come to be? Well, around 2 months ago, a strat developer named Sharpieman20 revealed a new tower design. It involved this staircase, and after building the staircase, the endermen would just pathfind seamlessly into this hole while you were standing on the base. So let's attempt tonight. Let's demonstrate. As you can see, they're just pathfinding directly into this hole. So what the staircase did was manipulate the pathfinding so it would be directly in the hole, unlike previous towers. So in towers like DMT, what was really happening when you were moving around on the base was it was switching the enderman's target location. So for example, from here to here to here to here. And in the process of the endermen trying to move to their target locations, they would fall into the hole. So Sharpie solved this by just making the enderman directly pathfind into the hole. So later on, Chaos, another tower developer, would start brute forcing tower designs to try to strip this staircase down, because obviously this is going to take a little bit of time to build. So after many hours of toiling, Chaos figured out that you could just place one block, just like that, and the enderman's pathfinding would be manipulated into the hole. And that was how OBT One Block Tower came to be. So I'm just going to show off one base in this video, so this is what we call a tower base. It's basically where you are at for most of your aggroing endermen, luring them into the whole towering time. So there are many different variations of this base, so in this video I'm just going to show you how to build this simple design, this simple 2-block base with a block sticking out on the side, which I will explain the use for later. Okay, so I'm going to slowly show you step by step how to build this tower. So the first thing you do is you place a block. You want to face south ideally, but it doesn't really matter in the end. But anyway, just place a block and then you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. This is where your hole will be. And then you can dig your plus sign around this hole. The visual cue that I like to use is I start from the block, I go diagonal to it, I do 1, 2, 3, and then another diagonal, and that's where I know where to place the hole. Obviously you can develop your own cues for figuring this out, but I thought I'd share the one that I use. So from here, you build up 4 leaves, 1, 2, 3, 4, and on the 5th block, you place a solid block so you can place your side ladder. And then, so right now you're on 5, so you're going to go 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then to the side, you place the one block here. 12, 13, 14. And then one block to the side here. From here, you're going to take 2 stacks of perfect 64 leaves, and then you're going to build up 22 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. And then here, you're going to place a solid block and a ladder. And then from here, you're going to use up the entire 42 stack and the entire 64 stack until you have, actually I don't remember the number. It was either 29 or 30, so I'm going to use F3 to help me here. Okay, so it's 30. So when you have 30 blocks left, you're going to place a solid block and a ladder on the side. And then from here, you're going to go 14 blocks up. And then a solid block, and then 2 blocks to the side so you can place your bed. A bed needs a solid block, so like not a leaf, for you to be able to respawn on it when you die and go back to the top of the tower. So that's the reason for this solid block. And you can do 2 leaves out, and then you can place an extra leaf here so prevent the chance of you running over the block when you respawn. And then from here, you're going to do a jump and then to the side. And then this ladder will catch you. So you're going to destroy these 3 blocks so the endermen can go underneath it. Otherwise, they're going to get stuck behind this pillar and you're going to have to do a little bit of maneuvering to get them around. So from here, you dig down 44 blocks. So 64 minus 44 is 20. Something you can do here is burn yourself with flint beforehand. You can burn yourself for 2 fire ticks and then put the fire out, continue digging. Saves a little bit of time on dying at the bottom of the tower later. So once you're at Y20, so the strat that I'm going to show you is going to involve using a pressure plate, but I will show you the strat without a pressure plate after I do this one. So from here, you burn yourself, dig these 3 blocks, place the pressure plate, then the water. And then you're done with the tower. And then from here, you can just start towering. So the reason why I use a pressure plate here is because when endermen pick up sand and then they fall into the hole, they have a chance of placing sand on the side of the wall. And this is obviously bad because you're digging 44 blocks down, and endermen, when they fall 44 blocks, they die. So what happens if they place sand and the hole is now effectively 43 blocks? They don't die, and you lose the run. So placing a pressure plate, or some people like using buttons, or a button here, will prevent sand from landing at the bottom because the pressure plate or button will break the sand. And then I like using a pressure plate because so the normal strat involves this. You have to break that extra block, put out the fire, and then replace that block so the water does not, because let me show you. Because if you don't and update the water in any way, it's going to start flowing. So pressing the pressure plate here just prevents you from having to mine this block. It prevents the sand from ruining your tower, and it prevents the water from flowing over here. So that's why I use the pressure plate. And that was the detailed build tutorial. Now I'm going to show a quick build of the tower. Basically how you would build it in a real run. Alright, I am going to try building this tower as fast as I would in a real run. Alright, so that was a 159 build, and obviously as you could tell, that was kind of riddled with mistakes. So you can make some conclusions about the potential of how fast building this tower can be. Also, one more thing, I don't think I explicitly mentioned this when I did the detailed tutorial, but when you go off to the side here, it is important that you jump, or else the ladder will not catch you. And I explained this mechanic in my sword tower tutorial in the past, but I'll just reiterate it here for those who don't want to watch that. But basically, when you are falling, you accelerate. And when you accelerate to the max speed, you're going to start falling more than one block per tick. So in one tick you could be like on this block, and then the next tick you'll be on this block. And on some ticks you can just completely skip over the ladder and you fall through and you die. So what jumping does is that it puts you falling at the proper height so you can catch the ladder. And that's why you jump. Alright, here are the numbers for F3 users. Since another method for building the tower, besides looking at how many blocks you have left, is using addition and the F3 menu to calculate what Y heights you have to place your like solid blocks, your ladders, that stuff. So starting from the very ground, you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to be 4 leaf blocks up, a solid block for your side ladder, and then from here you're going to go 6 blocks up. I know I put 5 orange wools here, that was a mistake, so ignore that. And then once you're 11 from the ground, you're going to place 1 leaf block on the side here. 3 blocks up, And then once you're 14 blocks from the ground, you're going to place 1 block on the side here as your base. From there, you're going to build 22 blocks up, solid block for your ladder, 76 leaf blocks up, a solid block for your ledge ladder, and then 14 leaf blocks up, followed on the 15th block, your solid block so you can place your bed. And then you can do your little leaf thing. And those are the numbers for F3 users. Alright, let's learn how to use this tower. So you've built your tower. What do you do from here? After you respawn at the top, you're going to walk forward and hold shift. And one thing I would like to point out before we do that is this number, the E counter, which tells you how many loaded entities are there. Keep track of this initial number. So right now we're fluctuating about around about like 39, 40-ish, late 30s, 40-ish. So let's just say about 40. Keep track of that. Once you're on ledge, you want to wait here until the E counter has risen about 60 entities. So it's about 110 right now, but I should have been leaving at around 100. So the reason for waiting here is so mobs can spawn on the ground and you're going to see more mobs and more endermen as a result. So after that, you fall down, slide off this ladder, you're going to be at half a heart. And then from here, you look for any endermen. If you don't see any, you can just drop down and die. Alright, so 40, so we're going to leave at around 100. The trick you can do is while you're falling off the ladder, you can, while you're sliding off the ladder, you can aggro endermen while you're falling. And this saves time because endermen obviously take time to teleport. And with this tower, endermen usually just walk into the hole all by themselves, unless they come from the direction of the 1 block, which I will showcase how to deal with later. Yep, just as I'm doing. Now with this 14 tall tower base, an optimization you can do is dying by falling onto the side ladder. The side ladder is higher up from the ground higher up compared to the ground, so you fall less distance and you don't waste as much time. And endermen take about 2 seconds to fall into the hole, whereas it takes 1 second for you to respawn. So you want the total time of you falling off and dying clicking the respawn button to be around 2 seconds. So you can save some time that you waste from having to fall 14 blocks by falling into the side ladder. Yep. So enderman. And what do you do when you want to check? So you go to the side and then you just strafe over here. Make sure you hug this corner. You want to hold forward and left. So that ensures that you collect everything in the hole and nothing despawns. So when I want to check, so when you check, you're going to fall down, hug this corner, and then open your inventory. You're going to look for the pearls in your inventory and try to see how many you have. You usually won't see them on the first time you drop because they just appear too fast, but once you know the position of the pearls inside your inventory, the following checks will be much easier. Or you can have like your chat check for you or something. When checking, the reason you ideally want to go off of this side block, aside from it helping guide you into the hole, is that there are certain checking distances from falling that are better than others. in falling from some heights, you're going to see your pearls less consistently during the night. So from here, 11 plus the 44 is going to be 55. I'm going to put a list of optimal checking distances on the screen, and as you can see, 55 is one of them. So 11 plus 44 is 55. So that's why we dig 44, and we have this at 11. This is also why pressure plate is nice. A lot of people dig 45 instead to mitigate the problem of endermen dropping sand, but having a pressure plate or button here, I'll just show off button real quick. Having pressure plate or a button here is going to let you dig 44 without the risks. So what do you do if endermen get stuck on the one block? Well, they're not getting stuck right now. Well, that's not what I wanted. Okay, so what do you do if endermen get stuck on the one block like this? You can just move to the side, and this will correct most problems, but some endermen will stay stuck, like this dude. Yeah, you can't really do anything about that, but you should be able to fix like 80% of stuck endermen by just moving a little bit. This next part of the tutorial is going to be for more advanced tower users, and this is going to be regarding ledge adjusting. So the normal ledge that we use is a ladder 113 blocks above the ground level. And this number is fine for flatter terrain, less hilly terrain, but when the terrain is higher, like these hills right here, when the terrain is elevated around you, what you should be doing is moving your ledge up to account for the higher terrain, so you can get more spawns on these higher terrains. So here's the first method to do it. So you're gonna build towers normal. I'm just gonna speed this part forward because I'm sure you already know. So when you get to 30 blocks here, instead of placing your solid block and a ladder as normal, what you're going to do is go 2 more blocks up, wait to 28 instead, and then you place your solid block. It's pretty self-explanatory. Go 2 blocks extra, ledge is 2 blocks higher. And the ladder heights still work as normal. So that's why 115 is a good number for this. And then we're going to still go up until we have 16 left. And then you're going to place your bed. And that's your adjusted 115 ledge. For the next method of ledge adjusting, we're just going to rewind back to here, where we have 30 blocks left over. So this method is called dynamic ledge or adjustable ledge. So what you're going to do is place your solid block as normal at 113 ledge, but here you're going to place a block onto the ladder and then build up like, let's go with 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then keep track of 6, because you still want to be 14 leaf blocks total up before you place your solid. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Place your bed as normal, and voila, you're done. So how this version works is let's just do this. Whoa, game crash. Okay, ignoring that crash. So once you set your spawn point, let's just die. You can just go straight onto the block and just wait on ledge. Once you're done, you can slide off and then slide off that ladder. That ladder is there so you do not mess up your ladder heights. It is not a good situation to mess those up and just fall through and die. So how this works is that you're going to be adjusting your ledge while you're doing tower. So it's hard to explain, but you just kind of want a decent ledge speed. But yeah, in general, slightly higher terrain. Maybe like for this, maybe you want like 115. For super hilly stuff, maybe you're over there. If you want like 116, 117, you kind of get a feel for it as you run. This is a more complex strategy, but it can net you some good gains if you properly utilize it to optimize the ledge for your terrain. Okay, what can you do if you exit the nether super early or you are doing second day nether? Because obviously with this tower you can't get a perfect 11-minute tower start normally, because you have to wait to sleep first and then you have to go and dig another 44 blocks. So here are some options you can do. So the first one is pretty simple. It involves digging the tower hole before you do the top part. But anyway, this is the 2x1 dig down. So basically when you're digging down, you just dig 2x1 all the way down to 44. Once you get there, you can do your water. You can even just place it like this, because you're gonna have to drop down into it later anyway. And then you just build up from there. This takes a little bit of time. I estimated it takes around 2 minutes 30 seconds, so you only want to do this, you only want to start building this at around, let's say, 7 minutes, 8 minutes at the max. You're going to need good pace to do this. So let's show another method. Another method is digging only like 20 blocks. You dig 20 blocks or so, and then what you can do is you build up with leaves. And leaves are quicker to break than stone. So if you have your shears, you can just instantly break these leaves. If you don't, you can use a sword to semi-quickly break these leaves. It's still going to be faster than mining stone later. Now this takes way less time than doing the 2x1 dig down. The final method I have to show you, you're probably not going to see it often, but I thought it would still be worth letting you know it existed, because it uses a pretty old well-known mechanic called bedwork. So what you can do is you build your top part of the tower all the way up. Just do that. All the way up. You place a bed here. You don't have to sleep in it. You just fall down. Go dig your hole. Because there is a way to respawn at the top of your tower without sleeping at the top of your tower. How do you do that? So once you dig your hole, right below the big pillar with that extends all the way up into the sky, you can, let's just replace this, dig this out, spot for the bed, and then obstruct the sleep in the bed first, and then obstruct the place where you would normally spawn using leaves. You're going to have to move the water setup backwards because you need room for the bed. After you do that, once you die, you're going to respawn at the top of the tower if you don't have any gaps. If you don't have any 2-block gaps in your tower, you're going to respawn at the top, and you can just re-sleep here, and then you can break break these ones. So how does this work? I've explained it in a prior video, but the gist of it is if you block your respawn point with semi-opaque blocks like leaves in this version, the game is going to shift your respawn point upwards until it finds a valid spot. So that's why I spawned in that 2-block gap earlier. The game considered it a valid spot, but once I block it up, it's gonna respawn me at the top. And the reason why you want to re-sleep is because you want to break these blocks for the optimal tower experience. So that's obviously going to create some gaps, and you don't want that. That's the third method. It takes a little bit of work to set up, so if I had to choose one of them, the half dig one, where you can just dig like 20 blocks and then build up with leaves, is probably going to be the one you see get used the most often because it's usable for more paces than the 2x1 dig down, and it still speeds up your tower build. It slows it down, but it allows you to finish the tower build at a better pace at around like very low 11s. I mentioned earlier that there are multiple different tower bases possible aside from this simple 1 block sticking out and 1 block here. So here they are. I'm going to show you the bases, but what I won't do is show you how to optimize the ladders with some of them. So yeah, it's because the ladders need specific heights to work properly, and that's just too much optimization for me to do for every single one of these bases. So you're gonna have to lab those yourself. But to cut to the chase, first here is the original ultimate base. So this is how the base looks. When you build up, you're going to build 2 to the side. Let's just demo. 2 to the side like this. Then you're gonna go back here, go up, 1, 2, 3, and then 2 blocks to the side as so. And the appeal of this base is that when you're falling, if you don't see any endermen, you can just fall straight down to this block and you will die. If you do see endermen, you have to turn and go to here to this block in order to have enough HP to survive. Now the downside of this base is that you have to move to survive. You have to move to the side to survive, and that can really disrupt things like your concentration for trying to aggro endermen while falling. So that's why I won't really recommend this nowadays. Also, this extra side block gives you more room to move around and fix potentially stuck endermen. Next up is the auto string lava setup. So this is how it looks. To build it, you're going to dig your normal plus, like so, and then right here, you want to dig 2 blocks before you place the lava. Oh, whoops. Hold on. Redo. Anyway, so you place your 4 blocks, then you place lava, and then have it flow into the 2 deep hole. Then when you build, when you build up, just build 2 to the side with a non-burnable block here. And while you're towering, some spiders will wander into the lava and just quickly die. The downside of this setup is that you have to use a lava bucket, so you can't do any like water setups, and it's just kind of annoying to use. I wouldn't really recommend any auto string setups for this tower, but if you're very desperate and your tower splits are slow, you can use this if you're doing like second day nether and you have to use up the entire night to hunt for all your pearls. One last thing, it's important that you make this hole too deep, because if endermen steal the block around it, at the very least the lava is not going to flow out. Here's what happens if it's not 2 blocks. If the endermen like take a block, the lava can just flow, and that will completely ruin your tower. Unless you like fill up the area around the lava with blocks that endermen can't take. But that is still annoying. Next up is the fire base. It's basically the regular base except you have fire here. And the reason for this is so if you don't see any endermen, you can just insta-die, walk into the fire because you're on half a heart. And you can also time your death using fire. So fire damages you 1 tick of damage every 0.5 seconds. So if you have, say, 1 heart left and you walk into the fire, it's going to take 1 second to die. And it takes endermen 1 second to fall down the hole, and 2 seconds to fall down the hole, and 1 second for the respawn button to reappear, so you can respawn. So what you can do is time your death with the enderman falling into the hole by walking into the fire right as they do, and you should have a perfect cycle. You won't waste any time dying. Okay. Next up, let's do toast space. So this setup was made by Lacking Toast, another runner, and instead of like any normal block here, what you do is place a chest here and just place all your items except the essential items for digging down the hole. Basically just like place everything except pickaxe, maybe a few blocks, and your flint and steel. And then you don't need to do the water setup at the bottom. I will show you an exit with this specific base later, but yeah, but you don't have to do water setup at the bottom, but you can if you wish. The top part is the exact same as this tower. The only difference is this chest here, where you store all your items. And then finally, we have the new ultimate base, which he recently discovered. So basically, unlike the old ultimate base, you don't have to move to survive. You can just fall off the ladder, go here. If you don't see any endermen, you can go off to the side right here. And that's basically it. If you don't see endermen, you can go off to the side and die. Let's see, so checking is pretty easy with this one. You can just go off to the side, slide off that ladder, and right into the hole. So as you can see, there's a difference here in that the main pillar is to the side of is on one of the corners instead of on top of one of these blocks that make up the plus sign. If you want examples on how to use this in real runs, I would suggest watching Ultimate Gamer Guy's runs. He's basically the only one that uses them. Most people just use the basic normal base, this nice and simple one. But here are some other options if they interest you in any way with their perks, then you can try making your tower using them instead. Now I'm going to be showing you the various ways to exit the tower. Once you have seen that you have, say, maybe 12 pearls, you can leave the tower. So how do you do that? So the first thing you're going to want to do is break your bed. Or if you're in like a tournament or something, you could leave the bed, but in the normal run, you're just gonna break the bed and then make sure to jump all the way down to the bottom. Once you're here, fall into the hole, make sure you hold to the side, to the corner where your water setup is, and then once you grab your items, make sure you keep holding, by the way. If you don't hold, then you're not gonna go into the water. But I think you should know that by now. So you just grab your water, you can break a pressure plate or button if you have them, and then simply pillar out. This is what you're going to be using most of the time. Pillaring seems slow, but it's a consistent way to get out, and it's still relatively fast. It's only like 30 seconds or something. And then you're done. You can craft your eyes, and then go find the stronghold. Okay, this next method for exiting the tower is called ledge exit, where you wait on the ledge and you fall to the side and you sleep at the bottom of the tower hole. So what this does is it spawns a bunch of skeletons, a bunch of spiders, a bunch of mobs while you're on ledge, and then once you sleep and then build up, all those mobs are going to burn and die in the meantime, and you're going to have plenty of spiders to grab strength from afterwards. This is a good way to get a decent amount of arrows if your world doesn't have chickens. So let's demo. Grab the bed. Okay, wait on ledge as normal. And then here you're going to swing to the side. You're gonna get caught by the ladder. Once you're at the bottom, you can place the bed and sleep. And then from here, you do the same thing as pillaring. You pillar. And once you get to the top, there's going to be a bunch of dead mobs. There's be some spiders. And yeah. In a normal world, there's going to be like more dead skeletons, but in this world, the skeletons have some shade to hide under. Plus I have this stuff over here. That lava block spawns. But yeah, that's ledge exit. Alright, the next exit I have to show you is the bed invincibility exit. So what you want to do first is turn your render distance to 2, grab your bed, and then wait about 2 to 3 seconds for the render distance of 2 to kick in. Once it's done, just jump off, place your bed, get out of it, walk backwards into your hole, and then die, and then walk backwards again. And I don't think I need to show you how to pillar again. This exit is good if you don't use water setup. Yeah, if you don't use water setup. For example, if you're doing the auto string setup, this lava auto string setup, how are you gonna exit otherwise? But yeah, that's what you can do if you don't have water at the bottom, or maybe you died at the bottom before you could place your water, something like that. Here's an exit that you can do if you're doing Toast Tower. So once you drop down and get to your chest, you can grab an axe, break your chest, and this is assuming you don't do water setup at the bottom of the tower. So what you can do, so like just assume there's nothing at the bottom of the tower, it's just a complete 1x1 tower hole. So what you can do is grab your water and then click on the side of the hole when you're near the bottom. That will negate basically all of the damage that you take, and you don't have to precisely MLG at the bottom either. So that is another perk. Another exit you can do is called Elivator. So what you do when you build a tower is you dig to the side like this, you grab 2 chests and place them like so, and then you can just place a block there. What happens is when you drop gravity blocks down later and your items are here, the items are going to move towards the chest because they are not full blocks, and then they're going to move towards this chest and then go all the way up. The downside with this is that this area on this side has to be enclosed. There can't be any caves above it, or else your items are going to end up elevating into the cave. What you can do beforehand is test by throwing an item and then placing a block to elevate it as you're dying at the bottom of the tower. So let's wait a moment here. So as you can see, the test worked. So what you do when you exit is you grab 2 sand and you place it like this. Let's go higher RD. And then the items should elevate up soon enough. There you go. The downside with this method is it takes time for the items to elevate, and but some perks are that you can overlap it with grabbing, like with making your beds, killing some spiders for string, that stuff. I'd only really recommend it with the toast tower build because you'll have most of your items in here and you can do like your crafts and everything. Otherwise, it's costly to get 2 extra chests, and oh yeah, one thing I forgot to mention, you can also use soul sand instead of chests, but anyway, I'd recommend just pillaring because pillaring is just faster, more consistent. Well, I'm sorry, it's not faster, but it's more consistent. The next tower exit I'm going to show you is pretty self-explanatory. So if you have an excess of pearls, say like 14, 15 plus, what you can do is use one of the pearls to save a lot of time from pillaring. So you can just toss it up and then get ready to clutch. And then you will not have to pillar up as far as you normally do. The final exit I'm going to show you, and possibly the coolest one, is TNT jump. So if you're on a temple run, what you can do is you're going to dig out and you want about 6 TNT. 6 TNT is like about the minimum you'd want to safely use. 4 and 5 are a little less consistent, but 6 will definitely launch you right out of the hole. So what you want to do is place the pressure plate and then wait until the TNT flashes 8 times. I didn't say that while I was waiting because I had to concentrate, and I only waited for 7, but yeah, that's how TNT exit works. You just wait for 8 flashes of TNT, and then you can just jump, make sure to block your sword, and you're going to be instantly out of the hole. The downside with this is you take considerable damage from it, so you better hope there aren't a bunch of mobs hanging outside. You can also use 2RD, but that's gonna stop spiders from spawning close to you, which is probably not preferable if you need strength. Well, that's pretty much all I have to say in this beginner tutorial for now for One Block Tower. So I hope this was useful. It's probably better than those 4-minute long tower build tutorials, since I went out of my way to explain some mechanics and how to use this tower. But I'm still going to link a few videos in the description, just like historical references like Sharpie's original SST video, a few Chaos videos. He's the one who actually made the tower. But yeah, some videos of how the tower is used in real runs. But yeah, this tower recently got world record with the 1919 by Teddy Ursa, so I would recommend checking out that run and seeing how the tower is used there. If you're playing 1.7, you should definitely switch to this tower over other towers. It kills endermen on average way faster than old towers like Dark Matter Tower, Sword Tower that I've done videos on in the past. And it's super easy and quick to build as well. So yeah, I hope you learned something from this, and maybe you can get world record. I believe in you.